Okay, you want to tell me what the fuck that was? What the ever-loving shit, 2018? You're 2 weeks in the ground and you leave me with that? Are you punking me? You have got to be punking me. After all of this, after everything this year, after all of the shit I have had to watch, you have the absolute balls to leave me with a good Transformers movie? With a Transformers movie where the Transformer was actually one of the main characters and actually was the thrust of the story and not some prepubescent little shit trying to get laid? You leave me with a Transformers movie directed by somebody who actually had a love for the material? You leave me a Transformers movie wherein our main character is a relatable, down-to-earth character, a female lead that's not just a sex doll for some little shit? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, you know what this movie is? You know what this movie is? This movie is the cinematic equivalent of leaving somebody $1 billion in your will, but specifying they have to spend the night in a haunted house to get it. That's what this movie is. Wait, why was this so hard? Why? Why was this so fucking hard? I'm watching this thing and enjoying myself, and at the same time I'm enjoying myself, I'm getting madder and madder because I do not understand why it took us this fucking long to get here. Oh. All right. Let's deal with this rationally. So, as I stated somewhat emotionally, I actually enjoyed this movie. Yes, we had a Transformers movie that was actually good. And again, I'm a bit shook by it. I don't know quite how to start with this. Okay, let's start at the beginning. So, I was originally not going to see this movie because I have made it clear, I believe, that I am not a fan of the Michael Bay live-action Transformers movies. In fact, I would go so far as to say I hate them. They are shit. They are shitty movies made by, pardon me, a less than adequate director who had no love or understanding of the material. Now, I am not saying that Transformers is like Star Trek, that had a deeper meaning. I am not saying that, you know, it was anything more than the half-hour-long toy commercial my parents always said it was. But what I am saying is that it was something that was important to me and to the lives of many other children of my generation. It shaped us, whether you like it or not. And to see a filmmaker basically take a dump for, 5, 6 fucking movies, all over something that meant a lot to me. And again, a concept I didn't think was that hard to adapt, honestly. It just staggered my mind. And then the fact it kept happening. It just blew my fucking mind. So when I heard about a BumbleBee spin-off movie, the only thing I could think is, there is no way in hell I'm gonna see that. And then the trailer started happening. Because, you know, one thing I do when I hate a movie so much, one of the exercises I go through is I try to figure out, what would I do? How would I make the movie instead? You know, if I was the director or whatever, how would I make a Transformers movie? And I'll be damned if this thing isn't almost picture perfect what I had in mind. I had in mind a female lead. Take it out of this. Stop making the Transformers all about some creepy jackass trying to get laid, you know, and actually make, you know, give our point of view character be a fairly relatable young woman. Make the Transformers look identifiable. They don't even have to look like their 1980s, cartoon counterparts, which I would prefer, but they wouldn't have to do that. You just need to make them look distinct from one another. Use the 1980s. I would, but I'm saying you don't have to, but I would. And get somebody to direct it who has a love or at least a respect of why people enjoy it. And the more I kept seeing of this, the more I kept watching it, the trailers and the behind the scenes things, it's like, this sounds like it could be good. And I went and saw it and shaved my head and call me drafty. All right. Yeah, all of that. I can say this for one thing. The first 15 minutes of this is a better Transformers movie than any of the fucking Transformers movies up to this point, except the 1987 one, of course. Yeah. I love this movie so much, or I like this movie so much, that I am the thing that makes me the maddest, aside from the fact that it took us this long to get here, is that you knew, but by the end they would have to tie it back to those piece of shit Michael Bay films, and they did. And when that happened, a beautiful, tender moment was like, oh God, fuck. And that's why I am imploring anybody at Paramount. I know you're not listening, but let's start a movement here, folks. We need to start this movement. This is not a prequel. Do not make this a prequel. It is a soft reboot. This is the Transformers version of Days of Future Past. We are starting over. Okay? I will lead this. Hashtag reboot. Hashtag Transformers reboot, whatever we want to say. Do not make this a motherfucking prequel and bind it down to those god-awful films. All right, anyway, let's talk about, I'm trying to, think of ways to talk about this film that I already have. So first of all, story is much more streamlined. Bumblebee, our main character, is a character in the film, and again, we have our human POV character who has a journey of her own and issues of her own, but the Transformer helps her in them, as opposed to what we had before. Big ups to Haley Steinfeld, I believe is her name, for her performance in this. Man, she was really pulling heavy duty. Man, she really pulled some heavy duty in this. I mean, they gave her a good arc. They gave her a good character to play. A bit of a punk, but relatable. We understood her journey. It's a journey that we've seen before, but it was a good journey, and she played it well. And especially when you have to consider, I always got to give these younger actors, any actor really, big ups when they're performing 90% of their movies against nothing. I don't know if they had an actor on stage doing motion capture to play Bumblebee. I don't know. I saw some things where they had props and things she could reference. But I mean, she's acting and giving a really strong performance against nothing, against air. And that is really respectful. She carried a huge blockbuster movie all on her own. She is the star. It is her movie, her and Bumblebee. She is a far greater lead than Shia LaBeouf ever was. And I don't say that as a thing against him as an actor. I don't know the guy. But I'm just saying the character they had him play and the way he played it, you just want to kick him in the balls repeatedly. Also got to give some ups to John Cena. Never going to be a Shakespearean actor, and I don't think he quite has the range of, Batista or even The Rock. But he really played a good hard ass and a good antagonist in this. I was really kind of digging his performance and going, okay, I can see this guy being a great film villain. He can do some stuff. So, big ups to him. Big ups also to the animation team and everything that brought Bumblebee to life in here. I like this movie as it's set in the 80s. set at the height of the Transformers, really, 1987. I also feel like it took a lot of inspiration from some of the films of that time. You know, The Kid Has an Adventure. You can see parts of the Goonies, you know, in here. You can see there's a lot of Short Circuit in this movie. You know, I want to say also, even though it's not an 80s film, The Iron Giant you can tell is very much an inspiration for this film. But I really think the animators and everything did a hell of a job bringing Bumblebee to life and giving him emotions and giving him reactions, little things. This is one of the things that made me want to see the movie, honestly, is the trailer and the shot in the trailer where Haley touches his face and he leans into it and closes his eyes, and I'm like, holy crap, that's like emotion and a reaction that they, you know, and you know, why that hit me. I mean, I know they did good animation in the other ones, but it's like, holy fuck, they've actually given him a character. So, bravo to all involved with this, with all of that. It was great. It's just like, you know, I don't know why this was so hard. I don't understand why it took us this long to get here. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. There are a couple. I've got some nitpicky things and some genuine things I kind of want to talk about. Actually, a lot of them are nitpicky. Biggest one, like I said before, is that it's weighed down by the fact they have to tie it in with those Michael Bay abominations, and that just irks me so bad. It's like I say, I want them to just do a Days of Future Past and go, nope, new timeline, doing something new. Which I hope they do. I hope they really do. This is the first time I want there to be a sequel to a Transformers movie. And I want Haley Steinfeld to be in it. If she's not in it, I'm going to be really sad. So that's one thing. While her character was great, I felt like they kind of fell into the trap of making all of the other characters not as great. Her male friend, Memo, I think is his name, is the character's name. He was good. He was a good kind of comic foil, you know. He was good. The two of them worked well with each other. But, I mean, her parents were still they were a little too stupid and too goofy. You know, all of the other government agents were too, I don't know, just too dumb. You know, it did lead to a great line from John Cena where he's like, they're called Decepticons. That's not sending up red flags. I did like that. But yeah, they were all just too stupid. It felt unnatural, you know? And again, the problem with this is, and why this sounds weird when I say it sounds unnatural in a movie about a transforming car, is that Haley, I'm going to just keep calling her Haley because I'm always worried I'm getting her last name wrong, is doing such a great job of playing this character and this situation very real. You know, her pain, you know, her character has lost her father, you know, and Bumblebee kind of helps her come back to life, you know, blah, blah, blah. But she is playing it so straight and playing it so honest that all of the characters who aren't that are, it draws attention to them. You know, it makes them stand out and not in a good way. I also have two really big nitpicky things for me. Again, nothing that ruined the film, but just kind of irritating things. So the movie takes place in the 1980s, obviously, like I said. But this movie falls into the trap that all period films do. It's scary that the 80s are a period now. And that it seems to believe that all of the 80s happened at the same fucking time. You know, and not... The entire 80s did not happen at once. Okay? Things, at least not the 80s I remember. Now, admittingly, I was a kid at the time, so I'm sure I forgot things, but, you know, certain things, like, I could be wrong about this. But I think by the time, in 1987, by the time Alf was a huge thing, and they reference Alf, like, twice. I don't know why that is. Nintendo was starting to become a thing. It was, by the end of the 80s, it was a huge thing. But the house still has Pong. It's like, guys, and like I say, the entire 80s did not happen all at once. My other nitpick, and this is nitpicky. So there are 2 Decepticons who come to Earth to track down Bumblebee. We never get their names. I don't know who they are. And the thing that got me, aside from them being triple changers, is that I don't know why we needed these 2 nameless Decepticons that we've never heard of. If you wanted to do triple changers, they had Blitzwing and Astro Train, or better yet, they show Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp at the beginning of the movie. Just have it be them. That would have been way better, is him being chased down by the Decepticons. Or even, I'm going to say this too. There's a part of me that wishes they didn't even have the Decepticons in this movie. The movie felt a lot neater when it was just her, Haley, and Bumblebee, and then the trouble with the government, So it was almost like you didn't really need the Decepticons. And I've got to touch on that first 15 minutes of the war on Cybertron. I had a nerdgasm that I have been waiting to have for 20 fucking years. Oh my God, the nerdgasm during that opening. Soundwave Ravage. Oh, Braun, RC, Wheeljack. It's like, oh, my friends are here. Yay! It's like, oh my God. It's like, we need more of that. That's why this has to just be a fucking reboot. We want to see those Transformers, not these shitty ones. Do the real ones. God. Oh my God. So I'm happy I saw this movie. I'm happy I gave it a chance. I had a good time, and this is one I will watch again. I think it really did a great job. And again, why it took us so long to get here, who knows? Please just do a reboot and let's just start from scratch. Start here and build. So final grade for Bumblebee, my final grade for all the films of 2018. I'm going to give it an A. I'm just going to give it an A. Solid A. Not an A+. It's not quite there. But I'll be damned if I didn't enjoy this film. I'll be damned if it wasn't just enjoyable as all hell. Just a good movie. And I'm really happy I saw it. A good way to end the year that, quite frankly, at the movies was less than hospitable. So, with that, we come now to the end of 2018's Drive Home Reviews. Thanks everybody for watching. Now, this doesn't mean Drive Home Reviews is ending at all. We'll be back with, I plan on seeing some movies that actually came out this year, and of course, now that I've seen all the movies from 2018, I can now compile the dreaded top 10 lists. So, please come back for those. Looking forward to hopefully 2018 being a better year at the movies than 2019. So until then, drive safe, and I'll see you at the movies.